welcome back to the Trochodise TV show. This year has already been exciting because, as we all know, in December actually, Ghanaians went to the polls and they elected new leaders. Now, after this, we know that means that Minister of Transport is going to change, roads and highways are going to change. Obviously, we have a new president as well. For some time now, on the Trochodise TV show, we have been talking about what people's expectations are. We have had a lot of conversations on the topic. What do people think the new Minister of Transportation should pay attention to? Along the line, we also had a conversation on the differences between the Ministry of Transportation and the Ministry of Roads and Highways. This conversation is definitely going to be a long one. The things that we'll be sharing with you guys. But as you know, we've kept the conversation so far in Accra. But guess what? Minister of Transport, Minister of Roads and Highways, whatever leader it is, their role will not just be limited to Accra. And so last week or this week, we went ahead to visit other parts of the country to get views from other Ghanaians, other stakeholders in the transportation space. This is the Trochodise TV show. And today we're going to continue on the conversation. What are people expecting from the new Minister of Transportation as well as the Ministry of Roads and Highways? My name is Yao Odum. Every Saturday I do this with Noella Kali Yari. But today she's not in the studio. And I think I've just butchered her name. She watched this later. But Noella has a very special assignment that she's doing for the show. And so she will be joining me back in studio next week. But we have an interesting conversation. We visited KJTR, which is known to be the largest single market in West Africa, not just Ghana, West Africa, to get some views on what people think about transportation in Ghana and what they're expecting of the new ministers. First of all, we spoke to the operations manager for the KJTR market. Let us go have a conversation, and when we come back, the conversation continues. This is the Trochodise TV show on Joy Prime. Call somebody to join you. See you after the video. Today, my guest is a very important person in the transportation space in Ashanti region. We are speaking to Mr. Nana Opoku Amankwa. He is the operations manager for KJTR Market, and he's also a road safety advocate, so a perfect person to be speaking to on the Trochodise TV show. Mr. Amankwa, Akaba.
I sit here as operations manager. I came in as a safety manager. I've done my job. I'm now the operations manager. And so road safety, it's something that is very key to the market because you have transport networks carrying people from here to Techiman, the North, Obuase. The stations go everywhere. We load from here to Accra. Even though the VIP and the buses are somewhere, we still have vehicles that go around. So,
so it's not just in city, but intra-city.
Absolutely, absolutely, yeah, absolutely. So that is how interesting the job is here. I love it. The people are sweet. The food is good.
Carrying the conversation further, we'll go into other areas, but we've been talking about your expectations, right? And so we wanted to find out what are your expectations, even as new leaders take charge in terms of infrastructure, which is roads and highway, and also service delivery, Ministry of Transport. Wanted to find out, maybe KJTR or personally, what are your
I have a lot of. You won't know.
Document.
I have a lot. Because, I mean, since 2018.
Okay.
I've done this since 2014, 2015.
Wow.
I've been in safety. I don't know which platform I haven't been on in terms of advocating for. I mean, at the height of these filling station disasters, I spoke everywhere.
Wow.
PM Express, GH1. I was in Accra. So people still call me on safety issues. But road safety is my baby because it doesn't matter who you are. One of the very interesting things about road safety for me is if you're a driver, You don't know who is in your vehicle.
True.
It could be your extended family. So if you drive bad, you will kill your family member. If you're a contractor, the road that you are constructing, it will kill your family member if you don't do it well. If you're a police officer and you don't enforce, it will kill your sister. I am bringing this in because there are 4 elements for road safety.
Okay.
And I'm diving into road safety straight away because that is my expectation.
Okay.
The idea of development and infrastructure, first, is for safety of human beings.
Sure.
So the vehicle that we are all happy driving around and sitting in is for safety, convenience, A to B. The rest of it is not needed. So you need the vehicle.
Okay.
You need the road. You need the pedestrian.
Okay.
Then you need the enforcing agency.
Okay.
These 4 guys, if they don't work together, we are not going to have a road safety in Ghana. And just look across the way the country is going, you realize they are not working together.
True.
So there is a project, a UN project,
Okay.
that puts all these 4 together. And it's been implemented somewhere in Marrakesh, Morocco.
Okay.
What are we talking about? If you are going to construct the road, how safe are you going to do it? What are the safety elements that needs to be in there so that the contractor makes sure it is there? We don't take projects for road just because it is nice. Has it take all the safety boxes? Because no designer, and I'm speaking now as an architect,
Okay.
construction guy, so you will not construct if the design is flawed. So in the design phase of our roads, how are safety people involved? I don't know which ministry does that, but if we are giving out projects, do we look at the project and think about safety?
Safety.
Why are we putting systems or infrastructure or items or elements within our road if it doesn't certify safety? Because it is nice to construct how many kilometers road. It is nice. It is dark, clear, but then there's no street lights.
That's another very...
We have roads that are completed in Ghana, and there are a lot of holes around it because it is not covered. Drains around our roads are not covered. How can you call that road as completed? So I am very passionate, but we have to tackle the situation head on. So that is the tip on the road.
Okay.
Let's talk about the passenger. Let's do the vehicle.
Okay.
How does vehicle come into the country?
Ported. Most of them are grain ports.
What are we doing at the port before it comes out of? If you give it to me, I will license the vehicles at the port.
Why?
Why is it coming to be driven on the roads before it gets licensed? No, it doesn't make sense to me because that is where the testing phase should happen. We should clear it and make sure the vehicle that is even stepping on the Tema road is fit for purpose.
Interesting.
Somebody brings, and this one is very controversial, but that is what I want to take this.
Okay.
Because we need laws that would save lives. The data is there. Every year, 2,500 people die, but nobody cares. And I've always said this: we are not dying enough. You can quote me. I say that everywhere. We are not dying enough.
Please, can we say that to the
No,
council?
we are not dying enough. Because, Chief, if we are dying, we will stop what we are doing.
True.
It's as if funerals are fun. But the cost of life and its implications on our national cake, we always keep saying, on our development, we are losing experts and skills because people are dying. The vehicle must be fit before it leaves the Tema port.
What happens if it's not fit?
It doesn't come.
But in that case, because it can't go back, so is it...
We scrap it.
Interesting.
No, I don't know how you want a vehicle to come and kill somebody?
Obviously not.
So there was a reason why they've had year limits and other things to come. It's for safety. There's a reason why we have the DVLA testing facilities. It's for safety. Now, what is happening in those testing facilities? What is happening? How do we give licensing to drivers? What sort of driving tests are we doing? It is a bigger situation, but we need to tackle it. So on the vehicle side, we need to make sure the licensing regime of the vehicle, the safety and inspection testing of that particular vehicle, one vehicle, and because when you look at the roads, when you drive, you yourself will know that this vehicle, I think
when we're talking about one car, the body of the car is on the right, the tire and axle and everything is going to the left. And you see this is just disaster waiting to happen. And the interesting thing is, when the accidents happen, we make it a spiritual conversation, or we make it sound as if it is so strange that it happened. But as you are saying, these are just disasters waiting to happen.
In safety, everything is preventable. There are accidents, right? We call it accident, but it has root causes. So the vehicle that has not been tested properly, you and I know you can get your vehicle license sitting at home. And this is not blaming anybody. The system has been allowed.
Yeah.
I call it rhythmic chaos. When you drive on the road, you realize there's so much chaos. But in the chaos, we are all happy. It's like we have conditioned our mind to accept it.
This is a very interesting conversation. Now, I think it's even impossible to watch the video and go past the statement that we are not dying enough. And this was a statement that he felt very deeply about. And I think it doesn't mean that more people should die, but what it means is that if we're really concerned about what is happening on our roads, then we should be actively doing something about it. And so if we're not doing something about it, then maybe it's not a big issue enough. But this is the Church of Ice TV show. We're still continuing our conversation on what people are expecting on the job that the new Minister of Transportation should be doing. So we have other conversations from Kumasi as well. We'll go on to it. But last week, as we started the conversation, we re-invited our guest to join us in studio. We have once again Mr. Oheneba Asamoah with us. He's the Deputy PRO for the Concerned Drivers Association. Mr. Oheneba, welcome back.
Thank you, sir. How's life?
Life is going good. Life is going good. So we also have Mr. Samuel Amoah, who is the Deputy PRO of GPRTU. Last week, he was in studio with us, but today he's joining us, digital world, he's joining on Zoom. Mr. Amoah, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you loud and clear now.
Awesome, awesome. Good morning, and how's your morning going?
Yeah, it's great. We are doing well. As I said last week, currently I'm in Shia near Sum on the Koforidua Road for a funeral, but because of, we love Ghana and we love our passengers and we love all drivers. So we've managed to join the conversation so we all can come together, educate drivers, then our roads will be safety for use.
Okay, so thank you once again, gentlemen, for joining us in studio. The conversation continues. I think from what the operations manager from KJTR said, there are a lot of things that he said in there. But what we also want to do to frame the conversation, we had some feedback from some drivers in KJTR and Kumasi, as well as some passengers. So we'll take that, and then when we come back, we discuss the issues that have been raised. The operations manager touched more on road safety, that those are his expectations. Part of it are the roads, part of it are the cars. And so definitely once we come back, I'm going to throw it to you, gentlemen. But let's see what drivers in Kumasi and passengers said as well. Okay, so as I mentioned, today we are in Kumasi. We are at KJTR. best market that I have seen in Ghana. We're speaking to people. We have a new government. We have a new Minister of Transport coming in. And so we are asking people at KJTR what their expectations are of the new Minister of Transportation. What for me, Chao? Yo, inti pacho bebo di na waka ni awo yo KJTR ni ato aso.
Okay, Fabra, I just said don't me.
Okay.
On the secretary wo. But the engineer Asan Krebwa station.
Okay, Asan Krebwa. Inti pacho hene hin sa bi na moko.
If you are in prior first one, you tell me a boss.
Okay.
It's the fast as the fire.
Okay.
Yeah, cookie. Some three Johnson.
Okay.
The child of Asan Krebwa.
Okay.
It's so far a was a one.
Okay.
Some of was invention being far.
Okay.
Myself from the
I call the aso.
branch of one.
Okay.
He will manso. I mean,
Okay.
attitude.
Hey, and I'm okay with it.
Tell you, Chamo,
Okay.
phone.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, put glass.
Okay. Enti wo finano ni ebisanti pacho wo kan na wa hwe wo cameraman ntu hwe akaka na wa hwe akaka. Enti ebisa se Minister of Transport Fofona Obano. Then na mo hwe kwan se ebia ye KJT ana Kumasi Ashanti region. Then na mo pepe se on hwe na on tutu nyoma awo mu.
Maybe I've been now saying this, I said no, but saying more about how you try 1 year's movie. Hi, I'm montation page now, monting, fight, movie. You go up there, you won't fire. So, woman and him now, massive. Now, you have a love of in.
Okay.
You have a need now for the papa, and also and I say she's in the war. I said, it's a woman here then. It's a some far the damage wobbling. Oh, Mamma do. Woman and enough massy. Then fell all the fat, not a son.
Yo, wafa. And you better was it. Okay, yo. KJTR, wafa mpacho efro say. Ima. Baje mi ti so mu bodin ba ku bi e de bi sa. Eno ye ni.
Flamin guy bi ba fam odentem.
Odentem. Ade ti no mo brother.
Say oya abo anu mu.
Enti wo.
So opie free so bada ko kwan so 9 cent. Oba jam frama afa wu. It's someone and so me dangerous.
Sa. Enti ane wo KJTR. Ye fi Trotrodise TV show our Joy Prime show. Na ye bisa say ya new Minister of Transport Ebano. Then asem na dam akoma so amope say poti eso ye hu bibi emamo.
Say no
matter no hwe camera mama.
No dey akoma so dey bebre. Bebre no dey akoma so bebre. No me hia do so bebre. Ebi ni say wo boa on say duma ye.
Okay.
Duma ye mo duma to so my insurance be a bit me after driver ni okay say be a kunya accident na say kunya bibi a wotime hu say wa bla bo adwuma na wo yam so wotime hu say wo na be fa ye dai afim ti adwuma de ye hia ntosu na sazo so no say in case say net me na say be a member for bi ni church that is sin na say we say na ya mama ka na ni say na ye fa tuna na so no. Okay, you and the other say. Now, Yensono, if you Trotrodise TV show, you be Bibia Aka, near Yamono, Yabeka Buano, near Quishiomo, near Chomo, say you share driver for our KJTR, almost say any in the car, let it feel. And I'm station.
Okay.
So, Saint Cadia and Camudi, appointment of Abia, so driver even the car will not fire, discussing the property. Okay, and no boy, let's see if your lances, as a senior in your country. So, since Yama, since I am I don't know from the Blake, I don't think you who are talking about my soul day. Ma almost yet, Amla. You know, nobody almost some way. I just see him. Now you want to my coming.
Okay, so these are views that were shared with us when we visited KJTR. definitely, as I was saying earlier on, I want us to start with the operations manager. And to Mr. Amoah, we'll start with you. He says that we are not dying enough. What are your thoughts on this statement and then other general statements you want to mention?
All right. Yes. As I said earlier on, let me first say hello to you, my good brother, Oine. God bless you for making time to turn up. God richly bless you. Then let me extend my greetings to the entire GPRTU national officers and the regional officers as well, most especially our able regional chairman who doubles as a national vice. That is Neil Kanta Ankara. God bless him so much for, leading this great union. Yes, what I would say about this statement about we are not dying enough is transportation or transport operators, are a group that I can say when we talk about those that are, responsible for human lives, we take a major role in it. And then looking at how the work is now, looking at the nature of the work, looking at the type of vehicles we are using, looking at the type of the kind of rules we are using and all that, we've come to understand that we have a lot of work to do. I heard of when I joined, I heard of one of a certain man came in and he was talking about some vehicles that are not roadworthy, some retrofitted vehicles that are still flying the road and carrying passengers and all that. You see, is some of the things that we are on it seriously, because there are some areas that we think some vehicles has to be taken out. There's one of the things that currently GPRTU has taken it upon themselves, making sure that our union guards will go station to station, making sure that the vehicles that we think are not roadworthy, the vehicles that we think are not worthy to carry passengers, we alert the union officers and the station masters as well, and they make sure that those vehicles will be maintained, because our lives are in the hands of the drivers. Leaving that side, let me also come back to the nature of our roads. As I said earlier, is also another thing that is killing our passengers and ourselves as well. You see, now that this government has taken over.
Hello, Mr. Amoah. I think we have lost Mr. Amoah there briefly, so we'll be waiting to see when he comes on board. But Ohineba, Pachonso, wa doing chair what to say.
Yo, it was not when you're I mean, chair a prime by this time. Then, chairman, national chairman, that's Powell, the entire executive. And then the GPRTU, that's national chairman and regional chairman. Mr. Amoah, a board, so a very, very good man. And I believe it's a Ghana for in that person. You might be to me. The best I say, all the transport operators, executives, I take a cue from that chairman. The question now will be answer issue now. Already, we should that word in contest.
Okay.
I don't think it means something that maybe Ghanaians should die or something like that. But he uses it on contest. Why is he saying that? It's because of our nature or the way the road contractors do the road for us. So when I'm quite so, that's what they did the way. Let me just say they work quite so now. Obviously, that's a camera quite say. Almost million team phone and as almost million on my room. And I say, yeah, pride road near the money because I would dream would depend on pride road and as a pioneers. I don't think so. Obey such road there. Into that word, no uses the Ghanaians are not dying enough. No, doesn't mean so. Person Ghanaians said but rather or you see the contest, say, be ya ma adwene den, and when you bomb most na say, ye rules na the engineers between them, actually, and na say, the people in authority will make sure the person or the contractor who is doing the road will do it well so that people will be safe enough. And until we use that word.
Okay, I made they say wabo and also because now one of the questions last week now yepesi ebisa. Enti efa ne say omo be ye kwan obi anim say kwan there main omo mbefa so drivers.
Yeah.
And a background and so transportation you say 60 to 70% public transport tro ne ne keka kan. Enti na me pe bisa say enti ono so bo so say so much safety, stakeholder engagement now there. Is there a situation where ebi omo be kwan omo fremu GPITU momra concerned drivers momra mona mo be use kwan no enti mumi antena ase na hwe mo consent ye den na ye factor into say the base aye bibi wo sa
Ubisa say currently how sa na say ye wish no ana.
First e wo ho sa ana say mo wish no sa.
Well, I start to be corrected. Me sure say ho no mo. Who say no marry. Ghana dey so be bought time kwan na dey friend say. O mo tie there. O mo hia on ka ho. Meanwhile, enyo omo na kwa yusu eye road na ma apply road na there. So wo sha trotro yusu roads no more than omo. But instead of say be omo be bibi sa na omo involve we na in the trans na ya share ideas how to do that to be better for all of us. They would never do that because one more time get a degree, get a PhD, and so they will not call you. And until last week, we are doing some discussion. And I said the new road minister Nawabano, it should involve us so that all of us will have intensive discussion to see how best I know between them. And that's what I'm going to take because they are going to take you over and answer no kita post into do a pay another obey. We are the bottom lies on axe.
Yeah.
What we can say do any ekumnipa. Edo be na ekumnipa o. Eye kwan na wire dem man na ade no. Spare parts na say do be na ntumi to no. And as import duty na bo aye den na ontumi akwakoye alteration bi na e show no mo. Okọ na atu na gbugba ne pe there. I don't think say do be too car say opeso there okumnipa. But rather opeso there nipa ne could do in safe or good conditions whereby nipa ne fifia na bibia ento no. By his case answer na there. Etie one road range na that's what call business here. And intention na. Any intention. And I don't say do be too bone too person okwakokumnipa. Never. But because of our nature of the road, our what do you call it, spare parts are ne boy dinner the end to mean to be alteration there. In the critical problem there. In that belief sir, ba ma banana no ma take over no. They should involve us all of us and we have intensive discussion so that I see how best things will work.
Okay. We'll come back to that. We hear say Mr. Amoah is back. Right. Mr. Amoah, are you back?
Yeah, I'm back. It's like the network is not helping that much, but we are still managing.
Okay. So just before you left, you mentioned something on the vehicles, which I want you to touch on, and then later I'll bring Oheneba in. We were talking about conditions of vehicles and all that. I wanted to find out, Inti, trotros at the trotro stations, is there a limit on how long a trotro can operate at the station, and under which conditions would it be taken up? Because when you visit other countries, they have a certain limit. Even the car makers, they have like some time frame that within this time frame, we need to take this car off the road. We know a lot of cars that come into Ghana, some of them are either accident vehicles or that. So I wanted to find out GPRT side, and then later we hear from concerned drivers. As we are all looking for safety, is this something that you have some policies on it, or is this something you'll be looking into in terms of road safety?
Thank you, Al. If I may answer your question directly, we don't have a specific year or a specific time frame that we think this vehicle has been working at the station for maybe 10 years, 5 years, and his time limit has elapsed, and that we need to take the vehicle out and bring in another one. No, we don't have that. But all we do is because now let me say this. Government don't buy vehicles for us. It's individuals that sometimes go in for loans, save some small.
Oh, this internet is not helping. But anyway, I'm sure Mr. Amoah will be back. Mr. Amoah will be back. But on here about so I'm asking this question because there are cars that are some of the stations. I mean, not some of the stations. You find some at every station. you know this car must not be on the road. Yeah. But on the other hand, the drivers and the operators will also argue that we don't even have enough cars.
Yeah.
What do we do about this situation?
Thank you. This situation is very, very tragic way. Yes, as you said it. When you visit most of the stations, you'll find a lot of cars that the cars have to go out.
Okay.
But you know, in Ghana or Africa, we have this kind of, we need to say we are now, the manage fee, whatever, a whole lot of explanation will be given to you. And when you look at the person to you say, okay, you are sucking the car or you are taking the car out from the station, how can the person to survive? All these things relies on our economy. The economy is doing what? Is hurting each and every one, each and every sector in this country. So if you're able to do things well, I think you can make a policy. Maybe when you have a car and maybe the car is being used for maybe 10 years, 20 years, and you look at the condition of the car, I think it's not good. You can easily take the car away and then replace it for the person so that the person will be doing what? Paying it gradual till the time that you finish. But here's the case, you don't have certain on the system. How can you silence the person that the person shouldn't use this car or something like that?
Very interesting thought. I understand Mr. Amoah is back, and I would want Mr. Amoah to touch on, and then Oheneba, you also come onto that, because in some countries, they have some of these policies, but we'll come to that. Mr. Amoah, please carry on.
Yes, what I was saying is that government has a role to play in this. You see, as you rightly, there are some countries that government provide transport or they for.
Hello, Mr. Amoah. Is it possible to slightly change your position? We keep losing you. So if you can change your position slightly. Hello, Mr. Amoah, can you hear me?
By here in Ghana, no. Government has not even given us that we gather money, some going for loans and all that. So,
okay, it seems we have lost Mr. Amoah there. We'll just try to get him to position well so that we can get, because it's a very interesting point that he's making. So once Mr. Amoah is back on, we'll bring him on. But now, government, is there a conversation that has started, or is this something that you'd be suggesting?
Not yet, but we have been pushing for that agenda. That's why I said the ministers that have been appointed should involve us in every decision that they will take, especially the Minister of Roads and Highways and the Minister of Transport. This is some of the policies that we have to engage with him so that they can make things feasible for the transport operators to acquire cars for their drivers, so that all these old cars will be eliminated from the system. I don't know what I...
Yes, speaking of old cars, where you also stage, I mean, what are your thoughts on this? Honest opinion, because this is still on the road.
On the road. To be honest with you, this cars go out automatically. But if you say that Canadian, or no, so the source of income is a machine or when they are. Nti on se say nneema we say the government na ben say na Mr. Amoah eka na ade na I believe say nka eden ebeboa at least if you have one of the financial institutions that they okay one akwa aka say the amount would feasible amount and service and there say so be kwa akoto car back or edema na there bro you'll be shocked what the price is akoto sprinter 2.5 billion 3 billion
wow
o baby en wa twitwa bibia na there so be say ho say odbema times 2 on that high purchase.
Yeah.
So times 2 meaning you are going to pay about 5.something billion or 6 billion. Besides how many years you better car every or better car every na Canada. I bet that.
And idea ba kubi o kan ya me pese ye ba back because Martin Mr. Amoah ba
the
be try but okay say otwitwa wie and also another area I think say can ho asem for safety reasons but Mr. Amoah, can you hear us? Hello, Mr. Amoah. Okay, so now we can be effort because one of the things that we've heard me say, cars never seat in him, windows near him. Why need you trust our windows? See, is there a standard? Is somebody regulating it? How does it work?
Yeah, is the bar as a container.
Okay.
You take it to the shop, that's the waters.
Okay.
No more chucha. Then you buy your rivers, that's the grasses, and they'll fix it.
Mm.
Then you go to the upholstery to do what? To do all this lining,
Sure,
not all fix it.
Okay.
Then the DVLA will do what? Will cross-check all this.
Oh.
See, sir, is it up to standard? Is it okay for them to license the car? If it's okay, then they go ahead and then register the car and give you.
But do they check?
Yes, they do check. That one there, when you are going to license the car, that one, there's no way you can pass by and do it. The car will be there and assess everything. Even though you can't get everything 100%, but you can't park the car in the house and go to the DVLA to license for you. Unlike license, you can be in a house and they will do it for you. But car registration is different from licensing.
But we've had instances where people don't even take their car to DVLA, but they're able to do roadworthy and stuff.
Yeah, there's two different things here.
Okay.
When we use car now, banner what you try there, obviously tell the call until my day. Assess it.
Until there's no situation.
Or no to me, back home phone call.
Okay.
But after registering it, they can near Jumano. That's where that one, because already documents in there, and also documents in our system in that.
But say, no. The reason why here every year roadworthy is because when you see car no, ABIB checking.
That's the normal procedure said there. Even online renewal, you have to go there to check your eye and everything. You have to go through this process. You have to go through. But here's the case, because of our road network now, cars in the SS and economic situation there, ni panel a car and call no, omunya famano. Into one fan cocra, or park it. But now guess what the call. Now come and access the car beam and son of my road in the man. But here's the case, even road LED to the what do you call it? Very, very terrible, bad road. And so can't be faster than alcohol.
But so in that case, no, don't you think, sir, now Monsono in a way more contribute to the problem? Because okay, yeah, can't road in a part now for Modia, but said the would say on my home near there. It tells us say obia on a party so no so play. Yeah. Especially from an organized group, no. Don't you think, say this year and it is something I say to be focused on, because I think last time you visited DVL and say no, they have mobile units that say a number of people they can come there and check. Because I think these are things that we can't compromise on. Because last year Nipa 15,000 and a prior accident where the IR recording. The IR recording and
recorded one.
Omo year 2000. Into obi Nipa baby on kabana otiase. If enya kweshia. And even as ye ka kwan ne de no, enyoman kitinkiti we no e ka ho a
encourage
I think say it is about time whilst we are having these conversations no, we need to touch on some of these things. And say the wa usi kai no, majority of ekwan no muna mu yusu. And okay, abai be ne there, but what can passengers or more so expect from more concerned drivers? Mr. Amwa Kobat, in this case, we are speaking for operators. What can Mr. Amwa is back? Okay. Hello, Mr. Amwa, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
I can hear you. I'm sorry for the connections and all that because of the network.
No problem. No problem.
Yeah.
So now the conversation we're having is we've spoken about the road, we've spoken about the car conditions and all that. We have passengers that are watching. We've understood that some of the issues are economics related, among other stuff. But to passengers that are watching the Tortured TV show, from the GPRTU side, from the concerned driver side, what promise are you making to passengers that are watching that this year, in terms of the vehicles that operate from our stations, the drivers and all that, what promise are you giving that road safety and the safety of passengers will be prioritized as organizations this year? So I think we'll go first with you, Mr. Amwan.
Yeah. What I'll say is that this is the only business that we've taken upon ourselves, and this is what we do to run our homes and taking care of our children and all that. And then all that we have to do is to make sure that we run it and we run it well. Yes, the assurance I will give to
Seems we have lost. Hello, Mr. Amoa, can you hear us? Okay, it looks like we've lost Mr. Amoa again. This is so unfortunate network-wise. The road network for the telecom, it looks like there's some potholes in there. So they also need to, whilst we are asking the Minister of Road and Highways to do it, we have to also ask them to do a lot of work. And I mean, we have a Jata coming, so we'll also be giving him fire. We need the road networks in terms of telecom to be smooth. But Oheneba Pacho, Monsono mo side no, and then Moshe said this year there, because this year the union and I say to me kaboom. 15,000 people be price, being say be 9 be 2,000 this year the a day na said the bear passengers and so him say metna concerned driver e kamwa yebekwa kodu jojo.
Hello, I said a collaboration between the government and then the transport operators.
Okay.
As currently my move back na baby the Obakroa, that's a strategy.
Okay.
Yes, station be there. In here, car said, oh, Barbara, Cruise will be about be an adjoining sort of car, so you can if you find us so. Into my point, said, a struggle or back on the back room. I didn't know struggle, I didn't wait in a car if you were. What the nature of the road now? I went to park or Koto brand new car. Pabeto Quadoso, within short a Canada. So a collaboration between the government and the video operators. And say na kaboom no na from the na so ya from there me make sure say okay say the bibia you okay the bibia okay na say won to me maintain your cars there then automatically you have to sack it that one no nya etomodin won to me patch no be there enyintum oba some of the station are there every month be there you call runs and make sure say bia o car no then enim akona koto onkoto there ma there enya adwuma e bia uni jack uni spare tire o kon bibi kwesi wo kwan so a anasa tire bi o brass tire o be there no asando pass there akwa.
But we more enforce with stations ni nyina.
I would say yes and no. You understand? If you more enforce so, if you say that enforce because I said only nipa Ghana and then Africa Human Institution.
But I don't know you better than ye no for because on say na obi beka say Ghana no bibia no we put a human face.
Yeah.
Because for example, eba e kwan no say ade abakwa mehu traffic light eso red. Obi be ye fie chia line na ya cross a men cross no obi yi anu abegina wa be pass that line ho egina. Most of the time see enye ho hwe abroche no undru hompo no camera chill 70 euros 100 euros.
Yeah.
How do we address these things? Because okay, no cry wo ho baby wo ho akwan na nye. But baby be brain so no ekwan na but still we are not doing what should be done.
Baby be brain na kwan na nye. Baby kakra na kwan na nye.
Oh yes so.
Baby be brain na kwan na nye. Baby kakra na kwan na nye. Once I can say there's a collaboration between the government and
but wait Matisa Mr. Amoaba, Yenche say you bet me I said obey me. Mr. Amoaba, we take the last one from you then. We can allow you to continue it.
Okay, so there is this thing that I wanted to say. Now you were talking about Oyeneba was talking about some of the roads where the roads are not okay and some areas to the roads are good. You see, each and everyone has a role to play. Drivers, we have a role to play. There are so many drivers out there that they flout the laws. They don't abide by the rules and regulations that governs the transport sector. You see, this traffic, the traffic light issue that you are talking about, we have drivers that you leave a space ahead of you, okay? But before you realize, the driver can just bypass you. Then even some of them do even stand in the middle of a pedestrian cross.
Exactly.
Are you getting it? All these things are not good. Yes, we agree that most of the roads are not good. But drivers, to what are we doing? Me, I'm one person that I hit here and I hit there. You see, most of the roads are not good. But if you are a driver and you are driving on a road that is not good, you have to make sure that, hey, this road that I'm flying is not good. I'm supposed to go my speed has to be maybe 80 kilometers per hour because of the nature of the road. Let me limit it so that I can, take my passengers there and bring them back home safely. But we don't do that. You see, that is why I'm saying.
Okay. Looks like we've lost Mr. Amoah there as well. But Mr. Amoah, thank you so much. I think the point that Mr. Amoah is making is very loud and clear. We're going to release Mr. Amoah so that he can continue with his rounds for the day. But we thank you so much for joining us. But his point is clear that drivers have a part to play. Because, okay, the road is not bad. What do I do? Do I still continue to do 80 because you say a quino a 80? Or should I slow down because my realizing say even though I 80 no, I say speed no, and I think that's a very, very important point that Mr. Amoah was making. Thank you so much, Mr. Amoah. Oheneba Mpatona also ode a B air count.
Yeah, I agree with him. What he says, everybody have a role to play. But now, about traffic light, and I say we are driving, be another. Now, there's a system. My name say be aware. When you go to a DVL and I say, or the Ubehu. When you cross the red light, so time is not to quack or renewal, over corner or system, no, you clear the system no. It will not be on the system.
Oh, in Piano, a police investigation.
Currently, yeah.
In how much I say implemented?
I think it started. It's one of the things that I'll congratulate the current GPR the IGP.
Okay.
That's Mr. Dampare. They have done a lot of work on that side.
Okay.
I'm implemented that into say, that's all cross.
Okay.
That yeah, kind of. But I know our policemen see there, they are obey chase you that kind of way. Now be able to make us and then park ready.
Yes.
But I say no cross wa. O time so ko renew and ya there. Obinya road way. The because we cross so you have to come and pay the fine before they can take you to the system again.
Because I knew said they had implemented it, but
it's working.
Okay, because we a test.
Yeah.
Now say jump traffic light. We receive SMS, and I think my younger brother receive it. Yeah, but now at the time it was a test, and usually election a bar. It's
working.
Okay.
They say even say o car, I say be a damage to money there. I say be a why say also go okoye. Body was there, or in fully. If you are not some side, no what the pretty nether at the atoll. Ni never corner there, you way nether. A bimo on my and yet all the but I say few ones who are Mukoya, yeah, renewal from because of say, or Canada, there's a problem on it and as beside near you. I think gradually you get there, and all of us have to put hands together and make sure you do things which is right and to be safety both passengers and then the passengers too.
Okay, so we're just about wrapping up with Oheneba, and I think this is a very interesting development that producer would have to follow up on that. It's called the Police Invisible Eyes Are Watching PR project. We definitely will do a follow up on that. And Oheneba, yeah, wrap it up in Patrol. Last message, Ben Audebema, drivers, because you can't minister there, drivers, passengers, everybody involved, no. What message, final message, and our Mayina as we go into 2025?
Yo, it was it. That's my last message I've been money from the government to the drivers. The best rabbi no. Send a good so I come as I say, I feel no aba. Or appointing the ministers now there. On why here a transport minister, then the road and highways. Or involved where any conversation be there. Because say in a bit with I shy ideas now, you have to implement in a boy now. Then back to the drivers. Send them a bra air cannon. Quania, I see who can be faster there. I drive. Because as a driver, as a bus who come come back home. There are a cancer driver have a lot of things to do. And not as a driver any driver, any said I would disturb no. So doctor ni e kuni pa ku back home. But driver kuni pa okum millions of anti mestre every driver be say o make sure say or driver or management den and say mpo office day no problem be man to car kra so office mpo fie ofifie no na adwene nya sound a man to car Nemo oba so na so betu ka no me sure na adwene den e be stable no afocus so no me sure say o de panya say den e be kọ akwa because e be ajigbungbran a wo driver so betu den e wu ntemesere obi amfa botre na akomapa emfa ya adwuma no na aban so omoa ye na at least your cars as I betu den I will proceed with new cars na etumi aboa ye na.
Okay, so we'll say a very big thank you to Mr. Oheneba as well. He's the Deputy PRO of the Concerned Drivers Association. They've been able to share lots more insights with us last week as well as this week. What we're going to do is we're going to go for a break where we hear from passengers in Kumasi as well, but would allow Mr. Oheneba to take leave. Thank you once again. And then let's go to Kumasi, listen to what the passengers had to say. Earlier on, we had KJT. We are asking for people's view. This is Church of the Ice TV show on Joy Prime. We are asking, as we have a new Minister of Transportation coming in, what are people's expectations? And then our person minister no onya shansiano esoye mbacho ubebo odin waka station e biawo na waka dia wo hwese ni minister no onye de onye ti ubo odin first waboni din ni atoaso.
Oh, okay, Medase, good afternoon.
Afternoon.
Ubacho Medi Benjamin.
Okay.
Me station agree is my kromase. Father so. Say now no ade atotro for na ye no e ha adwen. Ukọ ufricate akwa agree kromase a ana kwada so 350 pesos no moje. But now no me 5 cities. E ha adwen pa. I started almost by 3 months in apostle. The transport manager no e ba. Ade e pese wo ye ne say what ni pagu krom. Na omukọ station by station. Na omone drivers for ni mate for na kasa. Na baby a transportation baby a ese de omo je no omo fa emera anya adwuma na de omo je no omo nguso enje because anya sa e ha adwen because obi ba krom a na de obi aba beton no ade bi oba beton no nimfa so bi aba 20 cities eti 20 cities na transportation is about 350 pesos na enam say ka wan adrin na mate ni gin 5 cities ya in fact e ha adwen oba nimfa so e say nimfa so kete eti se ba 5 cities ya e ha adwen at the same time oba no panso a ofri so fly aba aduma 350 pesos ba na omo 5 cities eno kra wonya bi ye nya panyini bia obeka bibia fa ho ena anye na timanfo no e ha ne eti ye pata e ba se panyini ni ba de a de pese wo ye ne se ene omoa na onko station by station truck drivers mate for no ono omo nkasa na baby a transportation baby eda no onfa to pepepe na ye ho nto ene sa ne ye hwe pepepe.
Okay, enti ba chonso bebodi na ne here won so ache.
Me so ye feme John Tewia.
Okay.
No meti pogu klum. Ti sa de me na ese ka omo bua na ka no omo se adrawa for no omema bua na ye stable because ufifie ba kroma ebo na omo de to so no dene because wo ba 550 pesos omo ti mi ka 10 cedis 20 cedis ese utia because when tia wo chanso so a wadwuma sam ufie kosam ni nyina ya mwa enti ano na ya pese omo hwe na omo edom ye so omo de council begum ama ye biti se bus ana say ways and means bia ye betimi dia ko ba bia pese content because wan kwa adwuma ntema o boss yi wadi wan ko fie ntema enkwa na ofie omo nya aduane ni enti yesle say omo mwa ye na se skano na ana say se fu no na omehu ha wa o mesi economizing na ebe bua ya ni nyina se de ebe ma ye hwan ha ye eno nti na ye nso egina ha ye toa de kan.
Okay, boss na se onso person de bi kan.
Adam pete me de kan se ebe sere omanpanyini e say no new government na aba eti de ye sere se oma buses emegu system.
Okay, so those were some views from Kumasi KJT as well. This year, as we said, we'll be coming to you guys a lot of times because the Church of the Ice TV show is about your voice. It's about your voice. Anyway, we have just about 5 minutes to wrap up. 5 minutes to wrap up. And today, we wanted to do something special. And so I did not tell some people about it. I told the producer I needed some few minutes because I wanted to do a bit of surprise. Last year, we started this show in April, and there are people that have been helping us with the show. And so we spoke to our sponsors for the show, Hisense. They gave us a few this thing to give out. And so I wanted to surprise some of the people that have been supporting us on the show. Now, first of all, I want to call somebody. He doesn't like being in front of the camera. He doesn't like being in front of the cameras. But please, can we invite with a round of applause, Mr. Martin, our producer. Martin, our producer. Someone should please drag Martin out here onto the show. We just want to use the opportunity to say a big thank you to him. There's a lot. He's always behind the scenes. He's always behind the scenes. Just before I told him, oh, I need 10 minutes, I was like, okay, if it's something related to the show, hey, I didn't from Martin. Masa, bye. They'll be, we are the same height in Chise. Anyway, so Martin, come here. So this is just basically from the Hisense team, but also from the show. Right from the beginning, before it even came on there, he's someone that has been helping behind the scenes. He doesn't like to come onto the screens. But today, just to say a big thank you for all that you have been doing for the Tortured Eyes TV show. Thank you.
Thank you, too. Is it food?
No.
I see.
I put food inside it. Okay, so next, we also have one person that's a member of the Tortured Eyes community. From the very first episode of the Tortured Eyes TV show, this gentleman, has always been watching the show. He goes by the name BKM. I told him I needed him to do some work for me. He's always been volunteering. He didn't know this was what it was about. So ladies and gentlemen, we invite BKM as well onto the show. Charlie, thank you so much. Thank you so much.
I'm shocked. I don't know how I'll meet you today.
Yeah. So he thought he was coming to volunteer and do some work for us. But no, today we wanted to say thank you. He has been watching the show. We started with some people, they stopped watching, but he has consistently been watching the show, every time commenting, taking picture, posting on group. We also want to say a big thank you to you, brother. Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay. So the next person is somebody that has been calling herself my better half. But she found some other boyfriend, so she's not in the studio today. She has some assignments. So we've reserved hers. But next, we also wanted to say thank you to a gentleman that has been helping. He's been helping behind the scenes. He comes on the show to share his views and all that. Some call him Lesney, some call him Kelvin. He's actually the one that went to pick the things from the warehouse, but did not know we were going to give him one as well. So, Mr. Lesney, please, let's appreciate him. He also was not aware. Please come here. Please come on screen. When I was in the studio, he was picking the items at the warehouse. But I told him that, oh, the Hisense man said we should take it somewhere. But little did he know, one was reserved for him as well. So for all the stuff that you have been doing for the show, we really appreciate you. And everybody on Tortured Eyes says thank you. That's why I sacked you when Martin came. Anyway, this is the Tortured Eyes TV show. There's a lot of amazing stuff that will be happening this year. Stay tuned. We are going to address the issues. We're going to bring the policymakers here onto the show. But remember, every Saturday, 11 a.m., 12 midday, tune into the Tortured Eyes TV show, and we have even bigger surprises coming. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next Saturday.